Hello, hello, hello. We are recording live from Arlington, Vermont. Uh, this is Happy Valley Hobbies, and these are hobbies that make me happy. I am hoping that the computer seems very happy tonight, so that should not cause any freezings on my end. However, it is very windy. The couple of last days we've been having some very major windstorms through here and all that, so that might take out the power lines, and if that does, that's way beyond my way to stop that, especially now that I'm on fiber optics. Before, when I had just cable, theoretically, if I added a single UPS battery backup, I would be able to do so. But now with fiber optics, not only do I have the modem, but I also have the converter itself, which is actually in the basement and sort of kind of in a different apartment. It's not actually in the apartment, but it's in the staircase to the other apartment, which is on the second floor. So, well, I would have to say thanks for John Noteful coming in. I'm assuming the K is silent. Rick's Trains. Mystic Railroad came in. Hot Dog Pilot Andy. And I think that right now is everyone that's been talking in chat. Let's see, participants. Yeah, it is correct. Let's go back to live chat, not top chat. I don't know why they have a top chat, but. And Dwight from Curly Express wandered in. Then people are making hot pockets, and Sermon's trying to make you go through the mines. Okay. Tuna dog. And Sidetrack 77 has popped in. Thank you for coming in. I'm actually I'm in the process of overcoming my second bout of COVID. I think it was work tested me, and they said, "Oh, you have COVID." So I've been spending the week recovering. I have stopped coughing. Still not sure how contagious I am. And hello, rail artists, lurking again. Or luring again. But it's one of those things of the wind has been, in some cases, very nasty in some places. There's on US 7 near Bennington, there's a branch that looks like it's been blown off a tree, but I have no idea which tree it came from. So that's sort of kind of interesting. It's off the road. It's not really. I'm not. I honestly don't know if it actually wound up being in the middle of the road and somebody pulled it off, or it just happened to fly that close to the road. I do not know. But apparently I'm still recovering because my brain still isn't, still not quite in gear. But I am, I have started on a newer project. I'm still gonna Ooh, what kind of pizza there, Rail Artist? From, if I understand correctly, you are a either chef or somebody who cooks better than I can. I used to try to find science. That's what I actually thought I had. I thought I had a sinus infection because it didn't feel like how I had COVID the first time. It didn't, it felt like a normal cold, but they turned around and said, took the test. That second line came in very strong and all that, and then it's like, nope, that's it's COVID. Which unfortunately, I'm in the I was in the process of half training my new boss, or at least training my half of what he's supposed to learn. And so I'm looking at it going like, they said me, if as soon as I tell them that the test came positive, they're not going to let me here for the rest of the week because this was last Monday. And he's like, oh, don't worry about it. And all this, he's like, he seems to be a very chipper guy and all that. Although I would have to say he wants to throw the photocopier out the window. So they, a lot of them are to say, hey, what do you need to do? And what do you need to make the place be better and all that? And he's like, I've only been here a week. I don't know. But I have a feeling that we might be getting a new photocopier. I don't know how old it is specifically. Hello there, Boxcar Jerry. I'm trying to think if I wound up missing anybody else that wandered in. No, it looks like I think I got everyone. Or at least said hello to everyone that came in. But yeah, it's we're well, I would have to say I don't know sure what's happening at work. There is 2 times that they did call me. The first time was trying to figure out how to do FedEx freight, and they didn't realize that they had to go onto the website and go a completely different route. And the second one was how to set up for recycling foam to go back to Canada. Ooh, you're on the phone. Well, I would have to say being on the phone, then you can't see any of the mistakes I make. Probably can't even see the wrinkling in my blue screen here. But yeah, it's one of those things of actually the last time I had to take over for myself the first week. The first week was the last time I wound up getting COVID at the same time, which wound up leaving the one person there trying to get stuff out. And there's still, from what I understand, is still 2 weeks of hello there, Grandpa Rails. There's still 2 weeks of paperwork that is missing from that time period. So I'm assuming that there might be paperwork missing in this time period, and hopefully can recover quickly. But yeah, I'm still feeling slightly under the weather. I am not I'm not coughing and hacking and all that, so that's a good thing. But I guess we'll switch over to the workbench. Settings. Yeah, I wish there was a better way to switch over to different cameras and all that, like just hitting buttons and all that instead of going into the settings and then changing stuff and all that. Now, what you see here is what I was showing last week with what I'm planning on doing with the broad gauge layout. Basically, it's a It's going to be in like an ingle nook, but with a selector plate on this end, and planning on calling it less point, because there's going to be no points on this layout. There's just going to be a selector plate, possibly a frog right here. However, let's see if I can do this without destroying stuff. The other day, I wound up picking up a 1x6 piece of wood. Actually, I wound up buying 3 of them. One for the base, one for the backdrop, and a third for a cover. But I'm thinking of using this as the layout, and use this as more of a proper angle nook. Not sure if I'm going to be able to get the whole thing in there. Yeah, there's about a foot more that direction, and probably about 3 foot that direction. But basically, taking the same track plan, but actually having it set up for whereas this layout here has a angle nook that's only 2x2x3. This one will have the traditional 3x3x5. Which is approximately, with the locomotive with 5, that's approximately 3 feet. Double it for the selector plate. And so this small section here will be the scenic area, and then this area down here will be the selector plate / storage area. And of course, like I like doing is making things portable. But it is one of those things that right now that might be. I'll experiment on actually doing videos and all that with that instead of doing live streams. So that will be interesting in itself, that direction. All right, now to pick off where I left off. And it seemed to be very chilly here in Vermont also. I mean, it didn't look chilly. I mean, I went with probably one less layer than I should have outside because I had to do grocery shopping. All right. Now it looks like that wound up working nicely that way. All right, so let's see, where was I with this? I think I was, let's see, painting that. I guess mostly working with the rest of the stonework on here. All right. I do remember years ago, forgot who said it, but basically never complained about the weather, because if it wasn't for the weather, half the people wouldn't know how to start a conversation, because it's something that affects all of us. Weather doesn't matter how rich or poor you are. Uh, I mean, if you're rich, it might not has as a big effect as somebody who is poor, but it still has an effect. All right. That. Blanket time. Sounds like a good plan. Last thing I keep on forgetting that I'm getting low on PVA. Let's switch this around. So yeah, my idea right now is to use the other project of building that demonstration layout as a demonstration of also how to figure out how to use the how to record with stuff. I think, from my understanding, you can record with StreamYard. You don't necessarily have to do live streaming on it. But it's one of those things I probably have to go through StreamYard and figure out how to do how to actually do the how to use it for recording. Well, thank you for coming in, Andy. Sorry I didn't see you leaving, so you probably missed this particular spot. That is a good question. What is the temperature here? What does the computer say? It says 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Which I'm not quite sure what that is. But I'm assuming the 20 degrees probably feels a lot colder with all the wind that's going on. Now it looks like the glue did not catch very well over here. So we might have to re-glue some spots. Looks like it. Yeah, it looks like it didn't really catch on the ends. Now, I'm not really watching the screen right now because, well, there's a sharp knife being pointed at me. So, probably at the end of this, I'll turn around and re-glue re-glue this in and see what happens that direction for next week. Well, hello there, John from CNEI. Thank you for coming in. All right. Now, let's see. Let's grab a dry brush. Brush the splatter away. All right. Now, we got to see about how am I going to put the bridge here. Basically make like a right about here I almost want to say like a double thick a double thick this is where the bridge button will be, and then where is going to be on the other side. Same goes for this side. So so we might have to chop some of this stuff so I can turn around and add a abutment on that side. Also, probably a smarter thing to do would also probably build the bridge first. Build the bridge and the sequential Yeah. All right. Let's see. I'm thinking. Yeah, that'll work. Ooh. All right. I was going to ask you, John, what you're cooking and all that, but if you're, oh, you're not as lurking as you could. So basically, what you cooking, John? All right, get that there, hold that there. That seems to be midway between here and here, but probably need to add a quote embankment over there. Ooh, spaghetti. And I would have to say my cooking skills are good enough to survive, not to impress. Okay. That's one of the things I probably should do before next time is find out where I put the bridge kit. It is a Hunterline covered bridge kit. But my plan is to do it as a covered what's called a covered truss bridge, which is a bridge that only the truss is covered over, not the entire bridge. When you have the entire bridge covered, it usually has a whole roof structure like this. But the covered truss bridge, it pretty much looks like a it looks like a variation of a what's it called now? Through girder bridge. Except that instead of the girders being made out of metal, they look like a wooden wall. With the top of the wall usually being slightly tilted away. I know I can't think of the name of the railroad, but there's a heritage 2-foot railroad up in Maine that had just restored the covered truss bridge that they had. All right. This glue is not well. The glue bottle's not cooperating. There it goes. So bypass the tip And we'll go nuts this way. But yeah, from my understanding, the covered truss bridge was a it was a cheap alternative to the full covered bridge. It was cheaper to build, but also, from what I understand, did not last as long. So it wound up, it was a cheaper alternative than a full covered bridge. But the thing is, it didn't have the same, I guess, appeal as a covered bridge. So there's not as many covered truss bridges that have survived. There is none in Vermont. Interestingly, though, there is a bridge at Benedict Crossing, which is not that far from me. That was originally a covered truss bridge, but then when it wound up being repaired, they turned it into a normal wooden bridge instead of having it covered truss. Now I'm not quite sure why they did it that way. The only thing I can think of is that maybe because a covered truss bridge since it's not as, it doesn't have the same charm as a covered bridge. Because a covered bridge, you can design it so you can still see through it. So if you want to be able to see the creek, or also from my understanding, they also, in some cases, the covered bridge was used as can't think what they're called. They put mailboxes in them. So you would have whoever lived near the bridge, that's where they would put their mailboxes in there, and that's how they would get their mail. Because it was all covered, so you didn't have to worry about the mailbox getting destroyed or anything like that, because it was inside the bridge. Ooh, 9 and 9. Well, I would have to say, when it comes to cheese on a ham sandwich, I usually, for myself, I usually aim for Swiss or provolone. Trying to think. I know there's another cheese out there that I think goes good with ham. Munster, yeah. But it's one of those things of, as I said, I'm not a very good connoisseur and all that. So it might be, people might go, oh my God, that, insert culinary reason why it wouldn't work. But I do not know. All right. Yeah, I'm actually half tempted a little to add stuff right now, add some ground cover on this because, well, I got the ground cover in front of me. But I also know that's probably not the smart idea. All right. So basically, I figure out how to find the bridge, start building that, and then building, because then I can turn around and then build the abutment and bent that's going to go here. There's going to be a bent that goes there, then another abutment there. But that requires to be put together after the bridge. So give a sort of top-down view of how that's going to work. Then there'll be a trestle over here, and not sure if I'll just leave this as a field again, or try again to do like a small pond. But that's all right. Now let's see. We'll go this direction. This one is shorter than this one. And this one might not be long as I want it to be. Hopefully this is 3 foot long. Let's see. I thought I had a yardstick around here somewhere. Of course, now that I want to find said yardstick. All right. No, that's not going to be long enough. Yeah, it looks like I'm going to have to find something, approximately this wide, which is let's say wide as a 1, 2, 3 block, and then go from there and use that. It's something that's 3 foot long, so this can be used as the selector plate. Now it looks like this is one of the rare ones that streams that I've gone with that I might have to cut it short. Heartland, New Brunswick, 1282 foot long. I think, I could be wrong on this, but the longest covered bridge in the United States, I think is on the Connecticut River between New Hampshire and Vermont. And technically that bridge is in New Hampshire, not in Vermont, because the Vermont border actually ends at the Connecticut River. Normally, a border, a water border, the borders in the center of whatever river, creek, or whatever the water thing is. But apparently, when they came up with Vermont, Connecticut did not want to lose control of the river and all that. So they said, no, we want the whole river. So anything that goes over the Connecticut River has to be maintained by Connecticut. So, well, that's interesting. I'm trying to remember what the Grandpa Royals. I'm actually trying to remember what the numbers stand for. I know one is how many people are watching, and the other is how many liked it. And I forgot which one is which. Because this, all right. Well, according on my end, it shows 9 people are watching. And watching likes. All right. So what you're saying right now is on your end, it shows that there's 7 people watching with 11 likes. And on my end, I'm showing 0 likes with 9 watching. But I don't know if that I have sort of kind of noticed that sometimes what the live stream says and what's actually going on sometimes is not in sync with each other. But I want to say the new display layout is going to be all 6-foot broad gauge, just like most of the dioramas I have done. 2 likes, 8 watching here. Munster cheese on ham with horseradish. Interesting. I don't know. I've never been a fan of horseradish. I mean, I'll eat it, but it's one of those things of. Why, thank you, John. All right. I'm starting to think that my clock that I'm keeping track of is not. Speaking of not being things not being synced up, the watch I'm using keeping track of time, so I don't go over or under, seems to be a little fast. Do not know why it's a little fast. I don't know if there's a adjustment for the speed, but it's now more in line with what the correct time is. Now, one of the things I was sort of kind of thinking on doing when being in bed, but didn't have the energy to do it, was to finish off this layout. Basically, all I have to do is add the basically add these switches for the underneath control and all that, and it's pretty much done. And then I can hook them up and actually do sort of kind of operations. Maybe it's one of those things I'm not sure how I'm going to hook up said cameras to do so, but I can actually turn around and start doing some rudimentary operations. But maybe that probably might be a smarter thing to do, is to turn around and actually finish projects that I have started. Maybe that might be the plan for this year, is to actually finish projects. All right, let's switch cameras over again. So, Western omelet. You guys, you're making me hungry. But well, here's a question for everyone. What projects that you have that you haven't finished but don't have that far to go? I mean, like with the standard gauge layout that I have, it's like I just got to add literally 3 switches and making sure they work and all that, and I'm done. Well, I'm done with that. Not necessarily with the scenery and etc. along those lines, but it'll be operational, once I add those 3 things in. So what projects do people have that are pretty much close to almost being done or done to the next trying to think what it's called, to the next level? for you, most of them. Well, here's all right, rail artist. How long will it take you to get one of them done? Just out of curiosity. No, I mean, not saying that you have to, but it's one of those things of adding that LED lights to an SW locomotive for DCC install. John just finished his overhead light so we can actually see. That's important. Getting a detail expert downtown. All right. Annoyingly, I actually have better lighting than I have actually better lighting than what I do when I make these live streams. And almost done with the second loop. Almost done with the addition of the second loop. About 15 feet track to go. All right. But is the layout ever complete? The thing is, I'm saying what project or what the next milestone of a project that you're doing is close to being done. It's one of those things of, adding LED lights to an SW locomotive on DCC install. That to me, depending on how the lights are, it can be very easy or it can be very difficult. And that's just it. I mean, it's one of those things of where you can actually all right, 3 weeks. I mean, that sounds like a good plan. I mean, break it down to 5 feet a week, finishing out the backdrop. All right, and it's one of those things of what I'm trying to get here is, instead of thinking of the entire project, just focus on a single project. It's something that I probably have to do for myself also. And for some reason, my hard drive decided to go, hey, we're doing a lot of stuff. Okay, it's come back down again. And I think, unfortunately, I mean, this is just my opinion, that, the whole thing of multitasking all the time probably winds up doing more harm than good, because you can't focus on one thing. Some people can multitask fantastically. Some people, they have to do one thing at a time. Yeah, I mean, like for the layout, yes, it's only going to take 3 switches to get it so I can operate it. And I also got pretty much the structures already done and all that, but it still requires the ballasting, and also the other scenery work. Basically, the only thing I will have to do is scenery. Probably the first thing I'll do is try my hands at a backdrop. All right, John has a bunch of locomotives to do. And the thing is that there's some things you just can't rush. A 19 something that's, like an Athearn Blue Box or something of that era, takes a lot more time than something that's DCC ready. Yeah, buildings is scenery, but that you'll do that later. Yep, that's it's one of those things of, I rotate around the layout east to west. Now working. Okay, interesting. That's I would have to say that's an advantage / disadvantage of having a large layout, is that you can work on one part, get bored of doing whatever that is. You can go to a different section and work on that section. What I'm doing here, I'm sort of doing the same thing with the dioramas. I'm doing one diorama, doing one actually, when I first started doing the dioramas, I was doing 3 at a time, because while I was waiting for glue waiting on one, it's like, all right, we'll just move it on to the other. But yeah, it's like moving around the layout, and yeah. And it also depends on what the locomotives you have and all that. I have just recently realized that I got something that you'll never hear a model railroader say, and that is, I think I got too many locomotives. I mean, my layout's only 8 foot long, and 1.5 feet wide, and I got let's see, how many locomotives do I have? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 5. Yeah, 26 locomotives. Now, do I really? Yeah, I'm not really a good comedian. That's why I actually work for a living. Uh, but yeah, it's one of those things of actually, I have more locomotives than I have cars. But the reason why I was buying a lot of them because most of these are uh, you know these are models that are they're no longer being manufactured. This is, I guess, the Dixie Bell mode. Uh, then I have a lot of the. I got a bunch of. I got a bunch of the JW Bocklers. And most of these I wound up buying not because I wanted more locomotives, because I wanted them for the parts. I want to say maybe. Yeah, I want to say maybe seven. Should be 7 of them are non-operational. But I'm going to have to turn around and. Okay. Yeah, it's one of those things of if you have a lot of parts and you're not using them, I think Martin Brickell, if I'm saying his name right, he's one of the regulars over at New Trex Modeling. He has a lot of extra details that he's turning around and it's like doesn't know what to do with them, so he's trying to give them away. I mean, he'll turn around and build a car that uses all the parts and all that, and just give the car away. So if anyone is interested in O-scale cars and all that, check out Martin Brickbell at New Trex Modeling. Go on New Trex Modeling, and then he'll do his segment, and then you can sort of. I would say if you're on the Zoom call, you can actually privately message him and go, "Hey, I want to do X, Y, and Z." 25 Athearn Mikados. That's a lot of Mikados. Now the thing is that you also got to think of what I have for a layout. It's not that large at all. So I got. I could probably. I'm not sure how close I would be, but there's a good chance I'll be able to turn around and actually fill up all the track with just locomotives, which winds up, it's not that fun when you have too much. I mean, you have too much, all of a sudden you have like a traffic jam, and a traffic jam is not fun to be in. But it looks like I've hit the 1 hour mark, and tonight I believe it's Nissy J for Sidetrack Sunday. Came home. That's a pretty good one. Yeah, it's one of those things that, sometimes people just throw stuff in and go here, take $20 for the whole thing. And I actually wound up with a locomotive that way. It was a locomotive that it was a tender drive. It was I can't think of the manufacturer, but it was a rosin kit that was put together. And yeah, if you're doing inventory, but my assumption is that there's a good chance that she has a hobby that can, if you did the inventory, you'd probably cringe at hers. But yeah, it was a locomotive that was, I can't think of the name of it. It was a company that did they wound up they specialized in Delaware and Hudson steam engines. And I got one of the rare E2As. And when I first picked it up, it was regular lighting. It was fully weathered. But the thing is, if you're looking at a fully weathered locomotive on a, pretty much on a clean table or clean paper cloth and all that, it looks way, it looks like a piece of junk. But when I got it home and took a closer look on it and realized that it was a fully locomotive complete with, it had one person on there, and you can actually see the footprints where the fireman was. It's like sort of like this and all that. And I spent, if I remember correctly, it was $1.50 in parts, and I got it run. And I paid, I think, maybe $75 for it, and that was so last century. And it's a decent runner. But the thing is that not having a very large layout, couldn't really run it that much. I do not have my model railroad insured. But since it's me, myself, and I don't have anyone to hide stuff from, I guess. Yeah, if people with large layouts, I'm sort of dating myself. My first locomotive I ever bought was only $10, brand new. The Spirit of '76, so that gives you a time frame of when I bought it. That's why you're doing inventory, so I can insure it. I honestly don't know if I want to insure it. Because unfortunately, it seems that when you modify something, unless you're really good, it winds up devaluing. It winds up devaluing what you're doing. So that's why I'm not really insuring it. But all right, it is now 7:58. Yeah, the first train set bought under $20, brand new. I'm trying to think if I actually ever bought an actual train set. I think it was always, the locomotive and cars separately. I don't think I've actually bought a set. I was given sets. My first railroad was given to me when I was about yay tall. There's a picture of me jumping up and down. It's on the back says Ed's first birthday, which I'm starting to think is not birthday, first Christmas. I think it's actually the second one, because I was Tycho in 1974. Yeah, mine, the Spirit of 76, which was actually the Dixie Belle mold. Uh, I've, I somehow, I think I wound up somehow breaking it. And I've had like the tender for the longest time. I somehow did that. Well, thank you, Grandpa Rails. Yeah, now that talk of food and all that probably has uh, probably has got me thinking that I probably should grab something before Nissy starts hers. So, all right, good talk, and thank you for the encouragement. And as I say, it's like I believe the world needs more love. So find your passion, add some silliness to it, and spread it around. Bye.